It's the end of the business week. It's what a week it's been. Donald Trump gave another speech today at CPAC. He didn't really say anything new, so I think that kind of qualifies. American voters, however, are saying, no. And I'm not talking about Trump's popularity ratings. And by the way, it's Anything Goes Friday. You're welcome to call on any topic you want. After I've got a couple of rants off my chest here, we will pick up your calls, so feel free. But in any case, the Republicans, they have this incredible ability to ignore what the majority of the American people want, to promote things that are the exact opposite of what the majority of American people want. The majority of the American people, both Democrats and Republicans, want clean air and clean water. And clean food and safe drugs and all that kind of stuff. This is not a matter of dispute. And yet one of the first pieces of legislation passed by the new Republican-controlled Congress was to allow coal mining companies to dump more waste in the streams and rivers of coal country. So it would poison more miners' families. And Donald Trump said this is going to save jobs. So obviously it's not going to save jobs. Cleaning up mining waste actually is labor intensive. It creates jobs. So if you say we're no longer going to do cleanups, we're just going to dump this crap in the river, we only need one guy with a dump truck rather than 30 guys in a factory or a plant, some kind of high temperature burning plant or something to clean this stuff up. But as Trump correctly pointed out, when he signed the bill, it's going to save the coal companies, the coal barons, the modern-day Don Blankenships. Yeah, he's in jail right now, but any day now he'll be out. They're going to save them $50 million. As if they're going to take that money and just, let's hire a bunch of miners. We got $50 million. What, are you crazy? When the coal barons get $50 million, they don't hire a bunch of miners. They buy a new machine that'll replace 10 of their miners, or 20 of them, or 50 of them. Or they, buy another home in Switzerland or another home in Costa Rica, or, stick it in their Swiss bank account. So we know that the Republicans are doing things that the American people just patently, actually, in any way you slice it, are saying, no, we don't want that. But just like Ronald Reagan, because Reagan did the same thing, selling off federal lands, making it easier to pollute the water, making it easier to pollute the air, cutting taxes on billionaires, doubling the Social Security tax, screwing working people, 18 different tax hikes on working people, while he dropped the top tax rate for millionaires and billionaires from 74%, which kicked in around $3.4 million in today's money, dropping that from 74% down to 25%. It was a total scam. The whole Reagan era was a total scam, which is why Republicans deify Ronald Reagan. It's why they worship him. Oh, my God, Saint Ronnie. We all should. Trump mentioned Ronnie Reagan's name once at CPAC. Oh, yes. Oh, the flim-flam artist of all times. He is our role model. And that's certainly what's happening right now in the Trump administration and with the Republican Party. We can't, I think one of the big mistakes that Democrats make is separating Donald Trump from the Republican Party, because there is no separation. Stylistically, he's different. But, on the issues, he's going right down the Republican road. And it is the opposite of what the American people want. The Quinnipiac University, which is one of the most respected polling groups in the United States, just came out, literally, it was published yesterday, just came out with a new poll. And you can find it over at their website. Quinnipiac is spelled Quinnipiac, Quinnipiac University. Although it's easy to find. It's all over the internet right now. And they write, they just come right out and say it. This is the first sentence of the summary of the poll results. By wide margins, American voters opposed several key proposals by President Donald Trump and/or Republicans in Congress, ranging from across-the-board tax cuts to oil pipelines to the wall on the Mexican border. So voters, let's see. Voters support 87-10, increasing federal spending on roads, mass transit, and other infrastructure. You will note that the Trump administration just killed the 2 major mass transit projects in California. So much for infrastructure, right? He lied to you again. He lied to all of us. But, notes Quinnipiac University in their poll, voters oppose other Republican measures. 62-31%. Americans are against reducing taxes across the board. Even if it increases the deficit, they're against it. 51-38%, people are against both the Keystone and the Dakota Access pipelines. Trump turned those both back on. Yesterday, they cleared out and arrested the final water protectors, the final protesters. The wall on the Mexican border, 60% oppose it, 30% support it. 37%, excuse me. And if we have to pay for it, it's 65% oppose it and 33% support it. Lowering taxes on the wealthy, that's opposed by 76% of Americans. 50% of Americans are opposed to lowering taxes on business. Only 43% support it. 54% are opposed to removing regulations on business and corporations. People understand regulations, that's another phrase for consumer protections. 54% of Americans say, no, we don't want you to regulate businesses in the United States. If anything, they need to be more well-regulated. They keep destroying our economy. They keep poisoning people. They kill 50,000 people a year in the workplace. Come on. 63% of Americans are in favor of keeping in place regulations that combat climate change, as opposed to 27% who agree with Trump that they should be knocked down. Trump, Tillerson, former CEO of ExxonMobil, Scott Pruitt, you know, the bat boy for the Trump or for the Koch dynasty. 63% of Americans say keep those rules. 27% say get rid of them. And 54% of Americans are opposed to repealing the Affordable Care Act. In every one of these cases, a majority of Democratic and Republican Americans are saying, no, the Trump administration is wrong, the Republicans in Congress are wrong. Yet they're going to continue doing this. The Trump and the Republicans, they're going to continue doing this because they don't give a damn what you think. They don't give a damn what the American people care about. They only care about the top 1% because the top 1% fund their campaigns, fund their think tanks, fund their media, and fund their vacations and their children's college. I mean, that's the bottom line. We'll be back.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
And that's just the beginning of it. There's even more information here. And yeah, 93% want marijuana legalized for medical marijuana. Oh, let me just finish this Quinnipiac poll. I mean, there was a bunch of really, really interesting stuff in this. Should the U.S. deport all, quote, illegal immigrants? Only 19% of American voters say yes. 32% of voters are concerned or somewhat concerned they'll lose their current health insurance. A total of 50% of all Americans are concerned the cost of their health care will rise if Obamacare is repealed. Marijuana should be made legal in the United States, 59-36. Republicans are opposed, 61-35. Voters over 65 are opposed, 51-42. Every other party, gender, education range, age group, and racial group listed supports legalized marijuana. We're not talking medical marijuana. We're talking full-out legalization, 59-36. And yet, Sean Spicer said yesterday, and it's so ironic that we were talking about medical marijuana yesterday and recreational marijuana, and Sean Spicer said yesterday that, Jeff Sessions might begin prosecuting people using recreational marijuana in those states where it has been legalized. Great. And with regard to medical marijuana, instead of 59% support, that's got 93% support in the United States. The government should not enforce federal laws against marijuana in the states that have legalized medical or recreational marijuana, says 71% of Americans. A total of 64% of American voters are very concerned or somewhat concerned about President Trump's relationship with Russia. That, why not just put together a panel and investigate this and just let the chips fall where they may? I mean, this is not rocket science, except the Republicans are unwilling to do that, which makes you scratch your head. Really? Why is that? Voters support 72 to 23% investigations into potential links between Trump's campaign advisors and the Russians. Let's see, I guess that's it. Okay, the rest of this is just procedural stuff. But that was a fascinating study.